In this video, we're going to be talking about making money and what does it really mean. So let's start with the definition. So making money is really the result of the exchange of something of value for money, right? So you basically either exchanging a product or services for money. It also means that you're making money only when that exchange occurs. So if you're not selling, if something has appreciated in value, you haven't really made money. This is what's considered unrealized gain, and it's not really making money because it can fluctuate and then that money can be gone. So this is like when you buy a stock. Let's say you bought Apple shares on the stock market at $100 and now they're worth $120. You didn't make $20. The value has appreciated, but really you haven't realized, you haven't made money until the shares have been sold. And even for the IRS is also recognizing that you haven't made money because you didn't sell the property. It could have doubled, it could have been in half, you didn't lose money either. So that is a difference, a distinction that I wanted to make, is that making money is really once you are converting this asset or this value to some kind of cash. And what we're going to focus on in this video is how you make money. It really matters. And also how sometimes we are exchanging, in this exchange, we're exchanging something that could be very valuable for something that, we're not getting paid enough of. So if you had a car, for example, and somebody is offering you $5,000 less than the value that you think it has, you wouldn't take the deal, right? But so many people are making the same bad trade every day. They are selling their time with family and friends, traveling, enjoying life. I don't want to be overly dramatic, but they're trading part of their life, little pieces of their life, in exchange for money. And this is fine to a certain extent, but you want to, in my opinion, you want to go into a situation where you are making money without having to trade your time for it. So when you're trading your time for money, the IRS calls it earned income. I find that kind of interesting because that means you have to earn it. That also means you're kind of not in control in a way. That means that that money is coming from an employer, and the employer decides if you really deserve that money. And you're not in control. So, so you're trading your time, you're selling your time for that employer, advancing their agenda, building their value. And most of the time, most of the people I know, they don't think they're getting paid as much as they think they should. If you're the lucky one who is in a situation where you're paid way more than you think, then this is good for you. This is a good situation in that case, and you should stick around and do it. And this trade between your time and money has been pretty obvious to me. I've been an independent consultant for so many years, working for all kinds of very big high-tech company in the Bay Area. And I was well paid. I mean, the hourly rate was phenomenal, and but I could feel like every time I was not working 1 hour, I knew that this was $150 that was not hitting my bank account. So you kind of get an addiction for that kind of money that's coming in, and it's hard to kind of shift away from that and be more focused on passive income. It's also makes it hard to take vacation, because when you take vacation, this is like 40 hours of work that I'm not getting paid for. At $150 an hour, that's $6,000 just in not getting paid, no revenue coming in that week. And on top of that, you still have to pay for your vacation. So you still have to pay for flights, hotels, entertainments for the family. And this gets pretty expensive. It makes it very expensive, and it makes it a little bit harder to enjoy your vacation, I would say. The good news is that there are other ways of making money, and I'm not suggesting that you should always quit your job. I mean, if you enjoy the work that you're doing, I'm just suggesting that you add on additional sources of income so that if you decide to trade your time for money, this is fine, but it's just one of the options, one of the ways in which you make money. So that's if we look at the IRS, there was a study by the IRS that was done, and if you look at the millionaires, they don't have just one source of income. Most of them had 7 different types of income that were coming in. So some of them were investment in the stock market. Others were real estate investment. Others, another source could be, for example, joint venture in some kind of enterprise or business. So they had a variety of income sources, and most of them were passive income sources. So this is a situation where I think you want to move into. Everybody should be moving towards that. To achieve financial freedom is to build more sources of passive income. And if you decide to work on top of that, that's fine too. I know this is going to be a big mind shift for a lot of people, but in order to move away from that 9-to-5 job, that means you have to, you're going to have to start a business of somehow. So this is going to be a big mind shift for everybody, but this is a mind shift that's necessary if you want to have that financial freedom and that financial independence, so that you're not so dependent on that full-time job. And that side business that you want to do doesn't have to be complicated. It could be something, and in fact I recommend that it is something that is right in your wheelhouse, something that you're comfortable with, and then you start building it. So it could be an application for the phone or for a computer. It could be, if you're on the creative type, maybe it's about writing a book, writing a play. It could be writing a song or something like that. But the key is really to find that business that will fit the resources that you have. And when I talk about resources, I'm talking about 3 things really. I'm talking about time, the amount of time that you can dedicate to get this business off the ground. Once the business is off the ground, it will generate passive income without you having to spend too much time on it. So that's the idea here. But it does take time at the beginning, initially, to get that set up and get that little income engine going on its own. And then after that, you can kind of back off and then maybe continue to add to that same revenue source. So time is critical. You need to spend some time to get that structured right, get that organized and figure out what you're going to do and plant, and then get that going. The second resource is really around your skill set. So we talked about building an application. So if you're a software developer, then maybe there's something that's right in your wheelhouse, something that you can do. That's very good. If you're already a writer, or if you have some skills writing and stuff like that, then this is also a good thing for you to write a book. If you're a musician, maybe you want to write a song, so that kind of stuff. So really look at your skills in that as part of your resources to decide what business you're gonna try to do. If you're good with math, with finance and stuff like that, then you can look at other aspects of investments. And finally, money. So this is always the big question: is money. It has an impact, but it doesn't. The more money you have, obviously, the easier it gets. So you can basically, if you don't have enough time but you have money, you can always go and hire somebody to do some of that work for you. If you don't have a certain skills, if you're not a software developer but you have a software idea, an application idea, then you can hire a software developers to build it for you. So money really helps with a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that if you don't have money that you should stop everything. So after reviewing your resources and then kind of looking at the business ideas that you had, you're going to find out that some of them are not feasible. So don't be too stressed out about that. Just focus on the one that are feasible today and start pick one of those. Eventually, as you buy back your time and you stop trading your time for money, you'll be able to you're going to have more time, you're going to have more resources, and you'll be able to get these other ideas later on. So just focus on getting out of the 9 to 5 for now, and then move on to other things that you're passionate about. This is why I recommend for new investors, people that are still full-time, to start investing in turnkey rental properties. That's the easiest way to get into real estate. Obviously, real estate is a vast universe of so many different ways you can invest, and then it depends if you have what kind of resources you have. So if you don't have too much money, one of the things that you could be using as a strategy is wholesaling. So wholesaling is basically an idea or a strategy where you're putting a property under contract, and then you're reassigning that purchase and sales agreement to another investors that you've already made contact with, who's going to buy that property and who has the money to actually do the projects. So that's one of the strategies called wholesaling. The advantage of that is that you make an assignment fee or a commission on that reassignment. So if you don't have money, this is a good way to get built up on these, built up with your cash so that you can invest in something else later on. If you have money, but you really don't have time to check out properties and find contractors and gotta manage these projects, one of the opportunities that you might have is to do what's called private money lending, which is basically you being the bank for an investors. Real estate is the type of investment that requires a lot of money to buy the property and pay for the rehab and the contractors and all of that, and then for a short period of time. So this could be a good way for people who have money to build passive income without really getting into owning the property or anything like that. So that's a good way. It's pretty clean, and if you have the money, you don't need too much time in order to do that, and it's pretty in general, it's pretty easy to do. You just have to network with a lot of investors, let them know what you're looking for and then what your terms are, and you can get going pretty quickly. And finally, one of my favorite, of course there are more than that, but one of my favorite is the single family rentals, especially as you are working full-time, you have a W-2 income, or even if you have like a regular 1099 income. This is a good time to get going and buying as many single family rentals as you can. That way you can mortgage, because of your income, you can get a mortgage for these properties, and that would really maximize your cash on cash return. For some of the turnkey rentals that I sell, my investors, after financing, they make about 15% cash on cash return. So they put $20,000 down, let's say on a $90,000 property, and they end up making about $250 a month in net cash flow. After they paid all their expenses, after they paid their mortgage, that's what's left to them. So that's 15% cash on cash return. So that's pretty substantial, not the kind of thing that you would get at the bank. In my book, so there are more than these few strategies that I discuss here. In my book, I actually I describe a strategy quadrant where I basically split up a number of cash flowing strategies and where they fit in the quadrant in terms of the amount of risks that are involved and the amount of time required to get these ideas started. And basically, you want to stay in the lower left-hand side of the quadrant at the beginning if you're a new investors, and as you buy back your time, then you may end up in other areas. Use other strategies that require a little bit more time to get set up and that have also a higher return. Another advantage when we're talking about how you make money, another advantage in the business strategy that you want to use, you want to be able to have a strategy where you can use leverage. So that means the ability to put a small amount of money towards the asset, to control the asset, and then be able to borrow the rest from a bank, from other investors, etc. So this is a very important. It's really gonna help you multiply your returns significantly. So this is definitely something you want to look at, and this is why real estate is such a good investment vehicle. You can do leverage also in the stock market. You can get like a margin account and stuff like that. In many of them, you can do a significant amount of leverage. But again, these are not passive income strategies. These are active strategies where you have to trade on a regular basis and monitor your cash basis so that you make sure that you don't get a margin call at the end of the day, and you have to basically send money to your broker. So as I was saying at the beginning of the video, we all need to make money to get what we want. We all want to travel, we all want to eat well, we all want to put a roof over our head. But again, how you make money is very important. So you definitely want to make money passively. So you want money that is not tied up to the number of hours that you're working every day. So the whole concept of independent contract or anything like that, independent consultant, these are, as soon as you stop working, you don't get paid. So you want to disconnect the revenue coming in with the amount of hours worked. You also want that income to be generated when you're out of the country. You don't want to be stuck be forced to be in one area in order to do this. So if you have to be very close to, let's say you have a restaurant that's cash flowing or something like that, but you have to be there to manage it on a regular basis, not necessarily full time, but come and see what's going on a regular basis, maybe a couple of hours a day. This is not ideal. I want to have maximum freedom with my income so that I can run my business anywhere in the world. You also want to make money that has significant tax advantages. Obviously, real estate has a lot of tax advantages associated with it. I mean, we already spoke about all the tax deductibles that you can do. Also the ability for these taxes, when you become a real estate professional, to offset and really be part of your ordinary income. So you can offset any of these losses, 100% of these losses against your ordinary income. And then you have the 1031 exchange, you have all the deductions that you can do in terms of property taxes, insurance, all the expenses that it takes to run a rental property. And finally, you want make money in an investment or a business where you can use leverage so that you can maximize your cash on cash return. Well, thanks for watching my video. I hope you learned something and that you're going to get on your way to financial freedom, no matter what kind of investment strategy you're planning to use. Make sure that you are watching the rest of the videos on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe so that you're aware when I have more videos coming out.